Hi, this is Jeevi from idlebrain.com. I am here with Mr. Jakes Bejoy, one of the best music directors from Malayalam film industry. ఆయన రీసెంట్గా చేసిన సరిపోదా శనివారం అతని బ్యాక్గ్రౌండ్ మ్యూజిక్కి మంచి అప్లాస్ కూడా వచ్చింది.
హాయ్ సార్.
So I just want to know more about you because you are an engineer by academics.
Yeah.
After that, you did music related studies.
Yeah.
Can you please tell us about it? After?
I'm an engineer because at that point of time, after my 12th, we didn't have much music undergrad options here
Right.
in Kerala. You know. So right from childhood, music was my forte. Like I did learn classical music for about 8 to 9 years, growing up 3rd to my high school days.
Right.
And then at the time of joining a degree course, there was no, my father wanted me to take a proper degree course. So I thought I'll join electronics engineering because that's closest to music technology. So there also music was always there. So post my engineering, I was looking for courses outside because in film scoring, and so I came across a course in Stanford. Then I did my master's in music science and technology from Stanford, and then worked there in the US for 3 years. Then came back to India to full-time be a music composer.
Tell me that integration part of it, engineering turning into a music musician.
Yeah.
So how did that
So I believe
transformation
any
happen?
education is just for your knowledge building. You can be, so my affinity to music had no, influence on what degree I took, because I was always in music, and some engineering was like a passing by for me.
Right.
Though I didn't flunk any papers, I was pretty studious student, but music was always, how do I apply music in anything that I see was my thing, So even in college, I was in the arts secretary, and I was more involved in arts and things related to that. My final year projects was in a MIDI controller. I was building something music related. So always music was something that I had my identity right from my younger days. So that's why when you dream and you always pursue something, you will always end up there. This ride to me was not very tiresome, or it was something that I was meant to be kind of thing. That's what I felt. Yeah.
So tell me about the technical aspects of it, and
The Stanford.
how good is your education at
Well,
Stanford?
getting into Stanford was one of my biggest turnaround, I think. Like, it was a very humbling experience. Going there was a validation that I know nothing. There are so many smart students. See, my colleagues, we had only 8 students in that particular batch. Only one Indian was there. His name is Kapil Krishnamurthy. He's in Apple right now. Every guy who comes there is so skilled in music. They know the instrumental knowledge is strong. Their technical knowledge is strong. The musical, like the genres they follow. So for me, it was like, okay, just a baseline check on where I am compared to the rest. So it was me having that exposure of catching up. Now electronic experimental music is a big thing in Indian music scene, but in 2008 we were seeing that coming out from our lab. So all those exposure was unconsciously or consciously getting into. So when I came back here, actually it was a lot of unlearning, because here they didn't need all that. They needed straight up commercial music. But now I'm sort of trying to understand, how do you apply these things to what I'm doing, and like there are techniques called modular synthesis, and youngsters of this generation love some sounds that were in vogue at that time. So that exposure gave me an access to the world view. Now even I don't have to go there. 5 years is enough for me, so that I know what will be the
future.
Because you're constantly in touch with them. You know how they function. You know what are the underground scenes there. You know the artists there. I've gone to most of those underground concerts. You understand? So that's more than studying anything. It's that exposure, being there, understanding their culture. So I believe every composer, every musician should take a sabbatical, maybe 3 or 4 months, go somewhere and study. Or even I'm planning to go to Boston, Berkeley to do a summer course. That constant learning is what will, otherwise it will become a little boring after some time. You're constantly, you have a deadline, you have a movie to do.
Right.
It's past that, right? You have to explore, learn something, and rekindle that student also in you. Only then, even post 60, 70, you can still be. Most of the composers there are constantly learning. If you think old composers like John Williams, even at 90 he's scoring. And I've seen his vlogs where he's still learning something from Indian music or from European music, you know.
So when you come back to India, did you find it difficult to get chances?
So, of course, difficult to get chances is easy to get, sir. But for audience to accept you is not in your hand. Nobody. It's one industry, no influence, no recommendation, nothing will work. Only your work will talk to people. So initially, my friends were all in the industry. I had, before going to US also, I had a lot of work done, some albums and things like that. So when my friends told me, we are all starting a movie, we want you as a composer. We are going into this bus. If you miss the bus, I don't know when you will catch. That sort of triggered me, you know, because I was comfortable. I was in the US. I was earning a 5-figure salary, very comfortable, good job, and US life is very pampering. Like you can easily be there, be happy, you know. So I took that decision to come and try this video. I told my manager, give me 6 months, I'll try, this is my interest, you know, I'll come back and work, don't fire me, you know. So I came back here, I tried that, I was constantly in that movie, then didn't ever go back, you know. Even my first 4 or 5 movies didn't work. Like nobody even knew who I was. I was a constant, but that gave me, that resilience gave me, even if it fails, it's okay, let's do a good job. It became like a study material because I've assisted Alphonse Joseph for 2 movies, but I didn't. Normally assistants work many movies with the music directors to get a sense of the industry, not music, just how.
Yeah.
To be a composer is just not composing music. You need to know that people to people skill. How do you handle directors, the producers? How do you handle deadlines, expectations? You know, that's also there. So that took me like 10, 15 movies or so to understand all that. You know.
So what was your major break? I think I noticed you in Ayyappanam
Koshi is probably the biggest break here. But then I was working for the past 7 years before that.
Right.
My major break was in 2018 or 17. It's a movie called Dhruvangal 16. It's a thriller starring Rahman, old Rahman sir. No, he's not old, he's still mid-age, but yesteryear actor. That movie did really well. It's a thriller film, and thriller was my most favorite genre at that time. I was still kind of a thriller expert, you know. So that movie worked well, and then in a movie called Ranam in Malayalam, starring Prithvi, and my friend Nirmal directed it. That worked well. So a combination of these movies sort of, my getting into industry was not like a sudden break, it was slow, gradual thing, you know.
Right.
Like my graph thing, I didn't have a breakout. Only Ayyappan Koshi was probably a big breakout album, and it was mostly a steady, slow trajectory, like the Sensex. It was always growing, and I'm happy to learning on the flow, experiencing all those experience traveling with me and things like that.
There is one signature tune in that when Bizu Menon walks. That is like it's a instant.
It is so that particular scene, Sachiatan, my director, didn't want anything there. It was written silence. But I found that scene to be extremely massy. He's just walking and coming there, but putting a regular beat won't work. So we had samples of Nanjema, the singer, that folk singer, and we pitched it up and put a nice simple beat there. That's how we did. But that scene,
it has become a rage.
Major rage, yeah. And she got the national award for it, for that movie, the singer.
If you notice that was even modified into a brilliant song here.
Yeah, Bheemla Nayak.
It was exploited to the maximum extent.
Yeah.
Here also.
Yeah.
So have you seen Bheemla Nayak?
I didn't see the movie.
But have you heard to the?
Yeah, I've heard the time.
Yeah. So what is your observation? You know, Telugu commercial music and.
No, see, different sensibilities. So I think Thaman did a great job. The way it was, applied to appeal to the masses. I liked it. You know, it's a different touch on it, maybe because that particular subtle approach might not work for a big star like Pavan sir. You know,
right?
Because he comes with that much of stardom. So definitely that tweak is needed. That worked well, I think.
Your music for Taxiwala was brilliant. I mean, there are like very haunting melodies in that. But there was a considerable gap after that in Telugu. and you did Pakka commercial also.
Yeah.
And
I did a movie called Okay Okay Jeevitam.
yeah, Oke Oke Jeevitam, it's a bilingual Tamil and Telugu, and it is a very classic.
But Amma song
movie.
kind of did well.
Yeah. It worked well.
Yeah.
It's a commercial hit also in Telugu. And now Saripodhaa Sanivaaram, it is a huge break. Saripodhaa Sanivaaram, what was your process for background music?
The process is the same I approach, sir. I like big sound, big theatre experience, or masses enjoying.
Right.
Something I love. That's what we go to theatres for. The process was listening to the script, understanding the director. We had few sittings with Vivek. I thought the script was brilliant. Vivek is one phenomenal writer. He has a great music sense. So my approach was to crack the themes. He had different shades for the hero. He has a LIC agent, a swaggy hero, then he has an intense vigilante. So we had to come up with themes for all that. So luckily, the pre-release content that was going out helped me to create themes for each thing. And first content was Unchained. It was the vigilante. So we had a theme ready there. Second content was Samavarti. It was like more of his swaggy side of Surya, of Nani Saripodhaa.
Right.
We had that. Third content was Daya's Happy Birthday or Not a Teaser.
Yeah.
We had a villain theme ready. By the time it came to the trailer, almost every shades, the palette of the movie was ready. Now the final movie was just stitching together these themes so that it works for the scenes.
Right.
So 5 videos was already out before the movie released. So audience were also familiar with
Recall
all these
value
things.
is there.
So recollecting value is there. That's why the interval is, people are going mad. Because that particular teaser worked big time here. In fact, that Daya's teaser. So at that interval when we correct placed it, like I've never seen such euphoria in the theatre. You know, people were screaming, yelling.
Right.
So I think that worked. Giving those content early kind of worked there. Yeah.
I also enjoyed the background music a lot.
Yeah.
But some people are saying that it's little louder and it's kind of it's used too many times as the background music.
Yeah. No, see, that is kind of subjective, sir. For that particular, in the mix stage, it's a decision we take in the mix stage. Whereas how loud and how intense it needs to be based on the scene, we kind of define it, you know. Everybody will have their own taste and opinions, no, sir. So I respect that, you know.
Yeah. While composing music, you have different approaches for different characters.
Yeah.
I think Daya character stands out because he's a powerful villain.
Yeah.
When the villain is powerful, obviously hero will also rise up to the occasion. I mean, script will be like more engaging. That background music for Daya character, it worked really well. You know, you mixed a little bit of comic aspect to it also, right?
Yeah. So because the character is a little eccentric. If you think of it, I wouldn't say he's a villain.
Right.
He's an anti. Look at his problem. As brother who's not given anything to that fellow. Brother is he's an MLA, he's got so crores of land.
He's kind of victim.
Yeah, he's a victim.
Yeah.
This is how he went out. He's a proper victim of childhood trauma, not growing up, you know, losing their parents early or whatever. So for me, he's quirky, and that's why he has an intense theme also with Veena. Because I wanted some negative emotion, but still he's emotional, you know.
Right.
He's not, but you think he's a respect, he doesn't hurt the heroine or at any cost. You know,
he's gentleman when it comes to women. Yeah.
So, Daya needed that fun, he's lovable, but he's still menacing. When I was watching him, I was always smiling, you know, though he's also a villain. Surya sir carried it with so much grace.
Right.
So, I need a celebration, you know, and then that'll add that kind of a quirkiness to him, you know.
And little bit of Arabic style.
No, it's not Arabic style. It's mostly folk.
Okay.
With some dole instruments. We had some percussions. We had a nice, enjoyable, peppy mood because that's the character. But when he's intense, we have a nice negative kind of flute and veena bits are there. When he's doing little cruel stuff, you know.
Right.
So I had 2 themes for him, which matched well with the character. And even while during narration, that character was the one that stood with me. Because that character's, the way he carries it, his problems are very interesting, you know.
So when there is a confrontation between Nani and Surya, which orientation did you take
Yeah. So if you think of it in the interval, we have, he's asking, oh, Daya. Then there is a cutback to the climax. They're showing the climax in the interval. So there, we're starting with Surya's theme. And then we're going to Daya's theme. Right. And Chala Pedda, he says the dialogue and we're coming to Daya's theme. Then in the end, we are finishing it in Surya's theme. It's mixing both. The same beat is carrying on, but we're mixing both. So you get a tug of war between that idea that actually it was Vivek's idea. I went with villain's mood fully. But Vivek said, bro, can we blend the hero theme also here? It will have a nice effect. So interval is a balance.
And what about the climax?
So climax, we wanted to be a mad rush celebration. Because it's anyway, there's no rocket science. You know the hero will win. And, so it has to be an experience then. Vivek has shot it like that. No, it's like a comic book climax fight kind of thing. So I needed heavy beat, like in the sense like fast beat, fast BPM, a melody that's kind of ringing. That's what the Baga Baga was supposed to do. And it has to arrest the people to the seat.
Kind of vigilante fighting for a village kind of.
Vigilante fighting is in the reveal portion.
Right.
Where the the Sokalpan person slaps Daya. After that, we're going to the vigilante savior kind of thing. Right. But the end fight is more of a chaos, an organized chaos kind of mode.
This is your fourth film.
Yeah.
Okay, including Okay
Jeevam, I did a movie called Chavu Kabru Challaga.
Yeah.
Then I did a movie called Pakka Commercial. Okay, this is the fifth movie.
Yeah, fifth film.
Yeah.
So, which is your favorite?
So, in terms of, I can't say favorite, sir, because I worked on everything. But this kind of success, I've not. Taxiwala did a lot of things, and that song was a big hit.
Yeah.
But this feels like it was a total completion. Like it's from the process, no, sir. Like that's when I was coming here to the office. It felt like one cycle has completed. I came here for the narration. I came here for the puja, and all that we planned, right? God was kind enough to get everything right, and finally we have a winner.
Right.
That feels more satisfying. In terms of the efforts of all the movies I put, even for one cue, it's the same. I put my 100%. There's no compromise there. Sit with the director. Every cue in my movie is composed. There's no taking it for granted. Sometimes he might not like it. I might change it to not fit my interest. But every cue, I make sure that it is matching whatever his vision is. Taxiwala was a very unexpected movie. We didn't know. Even Vijay was not that big.
Content-driven.
Content-driven. And Rahul was a fantastic. The content was great. But it went through a lot of struggles because it was supposed to come way early, but a lot of post-production delays happened.
Part of it was leaked.
Yeah. What all can go wrong went with that film. But again, when it came out, we believe that the content will speak. And Vijay also wasn't that Arjun Reddy just released, Geeta Anand released. He was also in that peak stage, The Taxiwala happened then. And it did really well. So these two movies, always success speaks a lot. But Okay Jeevam is a very, very special movie to us because Sri Karthik is a good friend and we worked for it for a long time. 2 versions of the movie we had. And the Amma sentiments really stood with me, Yeah, every movie has Chavu Kabru Challaga, Kaushik, very energetic, and Bunny Vasu.
It's a different content.
Vasu Garu, that's like my foundation. That's where I do most of my films in. So I know how involved they are with the production. So every experience has been very good, sir. I'm also like understanding the Telugu audience, what they want, So that process took, again, like my career, this also, it's not sudden thing, but it has taken my time.
In Malayalam, your biggest phase of film was Ayyappanam Koshi between two important protagonists. Yeah. Here, I think Saripodhaa Sanivaaram is such kind of film where two
ego.
Clash of egos, clash of races, basically.
Yeah.
How do you compare your work? I mean, how do you compare these two films?
So, Ayyappanam Koshi is a very terrain-driven film. It happens in Attapadi. It has to do a lot with, more than the ego, no, sir. It has to do a lot with the voice of the people there, how perception. It has a lot to do with class politics,
And that flashback
it's a lot of undercurrents are there.
Right.
It is a little more, I wouldn't say it's a massive, it has mass, but it's a little more like heavily written what do you call
In depth.
Satyendra is a master at that. But to write a commercial film like this with this much of depth, that's also, a skill on its own. Like, the kind of Vivek is the kind of movies he's done versus to come step out. Every character is in depth, sir. Like, if you think of this movie, his Amma Siddham's is proper, father has a beautiful role, sister has a beautiful role, Daya has a beautiful role, his brother has an even more bigger role. So that depth, because if you are emotionally connected to everything in the movie, sir, the result will be Saripodhaa Sanivaaram. Versus just to make a commercial movie with a few fancy scenes, I don't think it will work now,
Right.
That's a big example. Saripodhaa is a big example of that.
So what are your future films? Any more Telugu films coming?
I'm doing one movie with Vishwadev. That's something I committed before. With
This month,
Mechanic
next
Rocky.
month and it is
Yeah,
releasing.
it's releasing. Mechanic Rocky. And then few calls have come. I'm figuring out. But I have a movie with Tovino. It's called Identity. And I have a movie with Mohanlal. It's releasing December end. And I have a movie with Kunjaka Boban with makers of Nayat. Nayat is an Irata. It's a good film. Jitu Ashraf is the director. And a few other films. I'm packed actually.
As a music director, which genre do you enjoy?
I enjoy thriller, sir. Thriller and what is that? Drama thrillers, my favorite. And I still love to explore romantic story-driven movies. I've done a few, but that's something like, because I've been an expert in this, sort of doing that for a long time. I'd like to go into other genres also, something I'd like to try.
In thrillers, there is less scope for duets and romantic. And our Indian films are driven by songs.
But the movies I got were there's a movie called Ishq. There's a song there in that movie. That's a big hit song. It depends on how, like Vivek, how he inspired. If a director is able to, music is universal also, and we are also listening to everything. So it's how the director's input and what's the scape of the movie, how much time we have, how can we crack that's most important.
What is your opinion about?
Because in Taxiwala we have a song that's even popular now called Mate
Venathu.
It's a love song.
Yeah, even today it is popular.
Yeah.
You must have gone through the AI revolution.
Yeah.
So how useful is it for the music?
Sir, it's something that nobody can ignore. It's coming very fast, and I don't think the time where a director can just type something, a mood, and ask AI to compose a song is not far away. It's coming there. It's coming
Right.
soon. No, we have to accept that there is a technology that is inevitable. How can we use it for our advantage?
Right.
Like, okay, we have a melody. Can we use it to process and make it a flute-like sound and apply it here? Can we ask Siri or ask the AI to have, use it as a tool to expand our creation?
At the end of the
My
day,
duty is music direction.
Yeah.
Directing music for the film. Tools are what's going to help me to create these things.
Yeah.
Ultimately, theatre audience should enjoy, have a good time. I should be able to. Responsibility is important, sir. We cannot rip off something and claim it as your own. How can we responsibly use that tool to enhance our creation?
Right.
And there are a lot of, because every time something new comes, there's always, even when ATM came, people are saying banking will be dead. Nothing happened. There became, other jobs were formed to support ATM machines. So when AI and automation is going to come, there will be other jobs created to support or monitor or do something like that. So in my studio, we have used it explicitly, especially to break down stems or to, to use voices to see what voice fits the texture of voices, to apply popular voices and see, when you compose a song, we'll apply and see which voice will fix there and then get another singer to sing.
Right.
Or when I'm singing, say for example, there is a pub scene, fight in the movie, you won't believe. In that, there's like a dance beat with female humming is there. That is actually a male voice. One of my programmers sang it and we used AI to convert it to make it into a female voice. It's become very natural now.
Right.
Because we wanted to, so he sang it and I said, convert it to a female, it had a different impact. It's a very hallucinating impact on the fight scene. We use AI for all that,
So basically AI can be used as a tool.
100%.
At the end of the day, music director is the boss.
Boss. No way.
No, just like you use synthesizer or voice modulator.
Yeah.
So you use AI to get the best
Yeah,
output.
how can we enhance our composition? There'll be different level of tools that we can use in depth in getting into a structure of the song. See, now it's kind of limited to what you can do. It's still that human touches. I don't too much use it. My engineers and assistants use it even more than I do, because I kind of rely on my instinct and spontaneity to finish a song or compose a cue. From what I'm seeing, it is inevitable. And sir, we are only when did this chat GPT thing come in? Hardly 1 and a half years.
Right.
And by now it's already this much. So what will be
Yeah.
in the next 10 years, 15 years? Can you imagine? You'll have a robot sitting next to you. Sir, what song do you want? Probably saying that.
Yeah, what they say is when you use AI, there won't be any copyright issue.
No. There will be that particular company who has a software, has a way of forming metadata that you can't directly release it on YouTube.
Yeah, it uses existing data, metadata only
Yeah.
to compose a song.
Yeah.
So
I don't think copyright issues will be there, sir. You can't just ask a software to compose a song and then use it as your own. I don't think there will be issues there with that.
Okay.
Yeah, you can only use that to help you can create something fully and release that in your name. There will be a work around that, but now it's not possible to just do it straight out of the bat. There will be some legal issues with that.
It's very educating to talk to you.
Okay.
All the best. With
Thank you,
your
sir.
future
Thank you so much. It was a pleasure.
projects.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.